What's up, guys? My name is John Evans. I help athletes jump higher, run faster, regain their confidence, and get healthy. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to jump higher without weights. Number one, plyometrics. Plyometrics work because you're using gravity to accelerate your body downward into the floor to increase tension in the muscle, which allows you to use the stretch shortening cycle, which is the key to jumping higher off of 1 and 2 feet. One of the major determinants of how high you jump is your eccentric strength, and plyometrics are the best way to train this fast. Over time, this will also cause cross-sectional area changes to the tendon, which we ultimately want. However, this does take a lot of time, so you have to be patient and do it for several years. In research, we see track and field athletes and volleyball players have bigger and stiffer tendons because of all the different types of movements that they do, and plyometrics are really an extension of that. Over time, you will have these adaptations happen. You'll get more explosive, train the stretch shortening cycle, improve your reflexes, and have more alpha motor neurons recruiting muscles faster. If you're looking for an extensive overview of this, go see the plyometric video. Number two, you need to have dunk sessions regularly or jump sessions regularly. In training, there's something called specificity. If you want to get better at something, you need to do it more. The downside to this is that you can get hurt very easily and very quickly. I recommend starting at 1 time a week and progressing to twice a week every 3 days. Jumping is probably the most intense plyometric, specifically jumping off of 1 foot. The forces can exceed 16 times body weight in a high jumper, so you have to be very careful about implementing these into your training. And if you guys are interested in getting jump training, go to THPStrength.com. We have a special right now where we'll charge you $12 for your first month, which is 90% off. For perspective, the service used to cost $500. It's better now, and if you decide to stay on, we'll charge you about $120 a month, which is like $4 a day. Number three, body weight training. There are tons of different variations of body weight training. The biggest downside to this is that you have to be very creative. It's very hard to get high tension in the muscle in body weight training if you pick the wrong exercises. A couple of the ones that I really like: pistol squats, reverse Nordics, Nordic hamstring curls, isometrics, and RFD exercises. To increase the intensity of each of these exercises, you can either increase the velocity, you can increase the range of motion, or you can do them single leg. I would start with these about 2 to 3 times a week. I would keep your rep ranges relatively higher because the intensity of these exercises is relatively low. You might not know this, but as we get fatigued, we are forced to recruit higher threshold motor units. So your brain will actually have a higher signaling to the local muscles, which means that as you get fatigued in those higher rep ranges, you're going to be able to recruit those high threshold motor units. Some of my favorite isometrics are a Spanish squat, a wall sit, and an isometric door frame push. If you want to know how to set up the sessions, I would start with a plyometric being your power exercise. I would go anywhere from 4 to 6 sets of anywhere from 3 to 10 reps. Then I would do a triple extension exercise for the knee and hip. Specifically, I really like pistol squats. This takes the place of back squatting, front squatting, overhead squatting, and it can be a really good substitute. I would follow up with some sort of posterior chain work, which in this case would probably be Nordics. However, the biggest downside is that you're probably not going to be able to get high loading in the calf and lower leg. Each week, you want to increase the intensity. However, again, this will be difficult because you don't have weight. So week 1, I might start with a partial pistol squat, then I might go down to a chair, and then I might progress down all the way to a full pistol squat. Now, variety is going to be a little bit difficult, which is super important when you have a good training plan. An example of adding variety would be month 1, doing the progression with pistol squats that I said, and then progressing to something like doing them with a pause. Number 4, we are talking about tempo. Tempo is one of the best ways to accumulate a lot of highly specific elastic contacts. As I said, this can increase the cross-sectional size of the tendon, and it can also help you just get generally more fit. Now, a lot of track and field coaches use tempo running on general days, and I would encourage you to do the same thing. If you watch previous videos, you know that I like to pair things that are complementary and compatible. So your explosive movements, your strength movements, you want to do on the same day. I would then follow up those days with extensive tempo. Some recommendations for this is anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 meters of running. You don't want to get lactic. Lactic is where your muscles burn because you're running too hard for too long, and this is actually impeding some of the goals of extensive tempo. The goal is to do these and bounce back so that you're able to hit those high intensity days hard again. If you go too hard on these days, you actually end up maladapting to the high intensity days that you're supposed to do on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So an example training plan might be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you have your plyos and your strength work, and then on Tuesday, Thursday, you do your tempo and you jump on Saturday. And number 5, we're talking about sprinting. Sprinting is one of the best neural activities that you can do. Again, you're accumulating those elastic contacts. We're gonna have all of those tendon adaptations, and we're gonna be able to recruit those high threshold motor units in max effort sprinting. My recommendations for this, regardless of whether you have a weight room or not, is pretty much always gonna be 100 to 300 meters of maximal sprinting volume. An example of a session session would be doing 10 by 30 meters. That would be on the high end of the volume spectrum. And then lower volumes would be 10 by 10. You want to start with 10 by 10 and progress your way up to 10 by 30 meters. Max velocity sprinting can also be added in this. So an example session might be 2 by 120. That's a speed endurance session. You could also do 10-meter flies. A good example of this would be doing 3 by 30 meter submax run-in with a 10-meter fly. There's also a ton of hormone benefits to doing these, and it is super helpful for body composition. And again, remember, fat does not fly. So sprinting can be a great stimulus for you if you're looking to get leaner and more explosive. So putting this all together, your Monday, Wednesday, Friday sessions are your high intensity days. Those days you would do a full warm up, do your sprints, then do the body weight training that I talked about, pistol squats, some sort of a plyo, Nordic hamstring curls. Then on Tuesday, Thursday, you would do body weight training and extensive tempo. So you could do things like a circuit with squats and A skips and B skips, and then run the tempo work afterwards. And lastly, you could put your jump sessions on Saturday. We have tons of plans that have this. And if you're interested in trying this out, again, go to THPStrength.com. That's the video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.